Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the Beastbox Purple Haze by 52Toys. Now, actually, I'm pretty sure a lot of people already got theirs some time ago because they are either a VIP or basically they got it from other, other sellers other than 52Toys. But once again, I was also wondering myself, or telling myself whether should I wait or just go for the order. But based on my past experience, I decided to wait until 52Toys actually put on their product on their selling page on AliExpress, and I decided to finally get one as well. So it took a little bit longer, but once again, as long as it's from 52Toys themselves, I'm always satisfied and I'm always sure that it's gonna come to me without no issue. All right, so once again, my turntable is missing because I actually brought that to work and forgot to bring it back. So yeah. So that's the case. So once again, these are one of those special edition stuff. So this is the Beastbox line. So originally they released a green snake, but once again, I was really hoping for a purple color for for later. But once again, yeah. So the purple one came out as like a special edition, like a limited edition thing going on here. So the box is much bigger, much wider, much fatter, and once again, even the box cover is different. So they're using one of those holographic things. So you can see on one angle it will be purple, in a different angle it'll be one of those like black and white color scheme going on as well. So this is really cool if you ask me. So and the thing is that this holographic thing is actually a separate thing on the box. So I think if with a little bit of work, I might be able to actually peel it off for later purposes. So pretty cool. Alright, so let me get that out of the way and let's focus on the review. So once again, the review will be simple. We're going to start on this cube form, and then we're going to transform it into the snake form, which I won't be showing the process because I'm not really good at showing the transformation like Jobby the Hong. And then we'll be looking at the bonus parts. So there are some bonus parts for these things as well, and there are some leftover parts because depending on how you in cube form there are parts that you don't actually use, but in the snake form there are these two parts that you need to reattach here. Well, this one is more optional if you ask me, but if you want to be more of the realistic thing, you're gonna need this as well. Alright, so out of the box, other than the main snake stuff, what you're supposed to be getting is the typical stuff. So number one, you get a instruction manual. The instruction manual shows from both box to snake and then snake to box form. So you shouldn't be having any troubles transforming, and the transformation level is very simple. So recently there was a certain purple gorilla that got released, and the transformation on that thing is way too difficult, even to the point where I actually gave up on mid-process. So yeah, unlike that, this purple snake, no problem. And then we have some catalogs, so all the marketing purposes or advertising purposes, like catalogs on other lineups going on here. So yeah, they're always going to include these as well. No PVC card as far as I know, because I think 52Toys finally listened to their audience, telling them the PVC cards were very unnecessary. And then because this is a limited edition, you also get this. Now I am a kind of a sucker for these kind of stuff, so you get a 9th anniversary small gold medal. Now I'm not sure these, gold medal, medallion, coin, whatever you call these. Now I'm not sure if these are actually gold, but once again, it's just a really cool thing to have if you ask me. So yeah, pretty cool. I think I have maybe one or two more of these depending on the limited edition version going on here. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm really happy to have this. This is pretty much another reason why I really wanted to also get this purple snake, other than the snake itself, but being purple, the moment I heard that this was included, I really wanted to get it after that. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Alright, so we have the box charger here, which is also purple. So usually limited edition stuff, the box chargers, they also don't come in just in a pure clear color. So this one is actually purple, and yeah, pretty cool if you ask me. And here is the snake. Now you can kind of tell by this that the transformation is pretty simple, where you just need to coil up the long snake into a cube form. So it's not as difficult as you think, but of course the manual does make it look like it's slightly complicated. But once again, you are going to need the manual because there are some parts that require to be twisted or rotated. So just to get a general idea on how that works. So it usually starts off like opening up the head like this, and then you start like uncoiling the snake a little bit by bit. So yeah. Alright, so we've seen the basics of this. I'll be right back with the snake and we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, I'm back. So it took me a while to figure out a few things, but once again, here we are. And this is the main reason why I wanted to have a purple version of a snake, because of SHF Kamen Rider Oja. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this specific character, but once again, as a child, or as a kid, when I watched the Rookie series, this guy was like the most evilest, villain I've seen so far in a Kamen Rider series. Even to this day, even if I was a Kamen Rider, I'd still shit my pants if this guy showed up in front of me. So anyway, yeah, just to match another nice, really color scheme. Now, it's not the exact same purple, but once again, the overall purple Cobra theme just works very well. Hence, I really wanted to get a purple version, not a green version. Alright, so now here we have the Cobra, and I attached basically everything that came in with it, but here's the tricky part. The instruction manual does not actually show how these bonus parts attach, so I actually had to went on the internet, check on a few images and videos to figure out how you attach these things. So once again, here we have everything. So first of all, let's start with the basic things. The tongue. The tongue will be always included. I think if you get this thing out of the box, the tongue will be actually attached into the mouth. So it's just basically the tongue. If you want to have the snake doing the tongue thing, yeah, you can do that. So it's a very simple thing. You just open the mouth and then you can just rip it off, and then here we have. This is a rubber part, so you don't need to worry about damaging it. And if you want more of a ferocious looking snake, get rid of the tongue and then just open the mouth, and here you go. So it definitely gives out a different vibe going on here. Now, first of all, the bonus parts are composed of two things. So there are these golden wing things with razor blades, and then these things which has a saw blade and a gun in front. So I'm assuming it's your choice on how do you want to utilize this, but most of the images I've seen so far, the guns are on the front. So I'm assuming the gun has to be the front part as well. But once again, like I said, the way how these works is that you have this one gigantic peg here. There's another peg hole there. And then you just need to connect those two as well. So I'm assuming if you want to use it the other way around. So these things actually do have some movement, so you can actually do it like this, and then maybe like this, and then reattaching it will now give it the more saw arm thing. So if you want to have a Cobra snake with arms, I guess that's your call, but it's your choice whether you want to go with a gun arm or a saw arm. So yeah, it's a pretty funky idea, but once again, it works on this thing. And keep in mind, in order to use this thing, first of all, there's another process that you have to do here. So you have these parts here. Originally, if you don't want to use the bonus items, you can actually pull these part out, reveals these rubber parts, and then there's a peg, and you connect that peg to the place where the arm was actually at. So yeah, I say that's a pretty cool gimmick. It's a snake, so there's not much you can expect in terms of cool, good articulation on the main body. But yeah, these are like small details that were pretty well hidden. And speaking of parts, this is the part that actually was separated in cube form. So you just need to reattach it here. Once again, rubber part, so it's not easy to damage these things. And then once again, on the end pieces, you just need to connect it like this onto the back, and you have more of these yellow cables or orange cable things going on here. Alright, so before we go into articulation, let's talk about the bonus part one more time, and then we'll go into articulation. Alright, so these are the bonus parts that are here at the moment. So it took me a while to figure out where or how to connect these, but basically number one, if you would let me detach one of these things. So you have these two holes on the back of the head on this yellow ring here, or orange ring here, and there are two peg holes. So those are the connecting points that you have to use. And these parts will originally be all like folded up in something like this in two pieces, and then there's a part here where there's a part here that actually hides the peg here. So you have to actually open up the peg and then reassemble it like this, and then attach it here. So yeah, it took me a while to figure out, but once you get the idea, you get the idea. Alright, so without any of those extra bonus parts other than the tongue, this is how it's supposed to look like here. But there is another part on the instruction manual which I will get into, but for now, let's look at the articulation of this thing in general. So let's start with the head. Now, with the head, with everything connected here, in general, it can look forward 90 degrees, up front, go up 90 degrees, upwards, and then backwards 90 degrees as well. Although I'm not sure if actual real snakes could do this, or even though they could, what would be the purpose on this one. And then now, technically speaking, the head the head is able to rotate, but with these rubber cables on, I don't suggest that. So with everything detached, then you can rotate 360 going on here. And yes, if you saw it correctly, you can pop the head out if you want to do so. Alright, so let me just reconnect these pegs here, just for now. So you saw the up and up of the neck joint here. There's, as you can see, there's another joint there which allows to go forward 90 degrees as well, but back not so much because of the design here. Now once again, we have another part here which allows to go, there we go, we can straighten it out, we can go forward roughly 90 degrees, and then backwards a little bit more than 90 degrees as well. So once again, but keep in mind, it's really up to your preference. You could technically do it like this and then rotate the head, relocate the head and ignoring the rubber parts and make it go forward like that. But once again, I'm just following where the structure is on how the manual is going on here. Now we have this middle part, which I do feel like it's kind of wonky, and I can understand why there is a certain part in the manual regarding this part as well. So this part can open up, which I assume is like a camera or some kind of a weapon thing going on here, but doesn't really move much because all it can do is open up like that. And you can see it's not a ball joint connection, so it doesn't really rotate on its own. But it can extend out like that, which I think does help out when it comes to balancing this, balancing a snake depending on the position here. So yeah, if you think the snake is a little bit wobbly on your posing process, you can always utilize these parts for extra support. But yeah, all I can think is these are maybe an extra camera or some kind of weapon in terms of mechanically. So you can see this middle part here may feel a little bit awkward. So the manual actually does mention, here's the part which I was about to talk about. I believe the manual mentions about detach the tail part. And then, let's see, I think it's, okay. So you can actually detach up to here. So you can get rid of this part and connect these two parts to make just a typical long worm-like snake. So it's really up to your preference, but for now let's look at this thing with everything on it so that you guys get the general idea. So once again, I think this is more of a preference. You want a mechanical snake with some kind of a base body on the middle, or just a typical long snake like a worm. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so each part here does have a joint that can move up and down pretty much. And then on the end here, we have this part, which according to the manual, it's supposed to snap in the middle, but I've done this multiple times. It just does not snap in the middle. I push it, it goes onto the other side or left or right. So I think what it's telling me to do is push it until you hear that snap, and then you fold it like on the middle part here to make sure that it looks like it's in the middle. But for now, it has a rotating point here, and then another moving joint here, up and down, and then once again rotating joint here, 360 twist, another up and down movement is possible, all the way down, upward. So the snake, so on the tail part, you can expect pretty good articulation here, here and there as well. And then this is the part only that I find a little bit confusing, because you can see this joint is roundish. It's one of those round joints that you usually see in maybe in a Kyoto Revoltech figure thing. But once again, the way how this moves is slightly confusing, but once again, it does allow you to go 360 in a weird angle, or just go straight 360 and move up and down. And it also works like a claw. So for like a snake to have like a rattling snake tail, I think they went with a claw tail, I guess. Alright, so that is pretty much it. So now let's look at the detached and typical warm body snake. So yeah, I would say this looks much more, more typical and general. But once again, I do feel like in this form, now balancing the overall snake in a certain pose might be tricky unless you're going like in a position like this. So yeah, it's really up to your preference. And this part, I don't know, maybe you can use this for something else. But yeah, I will admit that this middle part is definitely feeling wonky. It does give out some confusing images or design choices as well. Especially this part, I have zero clue what it is, but I have seen some people using this part to modify this thing. But once again, it's just like in the middle, having this extra bulk here does feel a little bit awkward, if you ask me, unless they have a different purpose here. Now originally, I think what they were trying to do is maybe making some kind of another detach system, so that what you could do is pull this away or something like that, and then extend it make another extension here. But once again, that's just my guess. But for now, yeah, it may feel a little bit awkward to some people as well. Anyway, that is pretty much it for the review. So this was the 52Toys Beastbox Purple Haze. Now keep in mind there is a regular version out there, the green snake version. The purple one is being the limited edition version because, you know, 52Toys likes to make limited edition stuff. And one thing I forgot to mention is the top head here. Now nothing really opens here, but you can technically pop open the plastic part, the front part. Now I haven't popped open these back parts yet because they just don't budge, but you can see a lot of nice mechanical design details in the head as well. So yeah, if you like snakes, or if you wanted to have some kind of a cobra snake robot mech thing, I think this is the perfect thing to go for. And now in terms of color preference, it's really up to your choice. But once again, I just wanted to have a purple one because of Oja. But to you, if you don't mind the green one, go for the green one as well. Now, for the bonus parts, do figure out how to attach them because the instruction manual that is included into this product does not actually mention the bonus parts. Bonus parts usually come in their own packaging, and then what they do is that on the packaging itself, they do show a simple instruction manual how to attach it to the intended Beastbox. So keep that in mind. Anyway, if you guys got any questions or requests, comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.